I found this interesting image here, and it's hilarious to me after playing years of this game. We got normal summon Alistair, good decks, Link monsters, hand traps, and then we have the poor classic Yu-Gi-Oh fan playing Master Duels. So when I tried to get into Duel Links around circa 2017, I did all the pitfalls of what you would expect a person who watched the anime but never really delved into playing Yu-Gi-Oh, the experience that they go through. And that is, like, I spent all my gems and all my points on like Dark Magician, Celtic Guardian, Summon Skull. I did the Blue Eyes White Dragon Dark Magician deck that, you know, has like no synergy, but you just want to do it kind of thing. It's like I got like Baby Dragon, I got Red Eyes Black Dragon, and then next thing you know, I have this deck that has zero synergy. There's no strategy to it. It's pretty much like I made a deck where it's just all my personal favorite cards from the TV show, and then I played online with those cards, and then the results were absolutely gosh darn terrible. And I think that's a lot of people's experiences when it comes to playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Where, like, you remember a lot of things from the show, like Blue Eyes White Dragon, and then you throw it into a deck. Even though it's been like 20 years, the game still is how it was 20 years ago ago. You try to, like, you set your Mirror Force, you don't have any monsters to summon because you got a whole lot of like level 8 monsters or level 9 monsters in your hand. And then and then it's now your opponent's turn, and your opponent starts doing things that you don't recognize or you don't notice, or something that just completely takes you out. And it's like, wait a minute, this is Yu-Gi-Oh nowadays? What the heck? And so they start doing their combos, the beginner players like trap of like getting all the cards that you enjoy as a kid. And there's nothing wrong doing this, really. If you want to, like, if you're just like going in and you get a pure surface level here, but you're just gonna go make cards or make a deck based on cards you remember, and then you make it, and then it goes really terrible. Then you get bullied either through IRL locals or online, and then you get scared away from playing the game of Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, that's the typical experience that most people are gonna have with Yu-Gi-Oh. It happened to me, even dating back to like 2010, 2009, when synchros were first involved. I was like, this isn't Yu-Gi-Oh. What is this, man? You got to count all your levels, and there's like monsters that from the extra deck that's like white and silver. Like, what is this, man? This ain't Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, what happened to the good old days with, like, you normal summon Celtic Guardian, then you sacrifice over Summon Skull, and then you set Mirror Force? Like, that's old school Yu-Gi-Oh right there, man. And then you realize years later on that that's actually pretty gosh darn stupid. And someone brought this up in a comment where it's like, the only way to really enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh is after you go through a trial and error phase where you got to fail multiple times over and over and over again. You can play hundreds of duels, you can play thousands of duels of Yu-Gi-Oh in both real life and in online. Now, that sucks though. You can say it's bad game design, and I would say that it is bad game design, that you got to go through multiple hurdles to enjoy the game of Yu-Gi-Oh, but it is what it is, and there's no way you can, like, go back, right? Unless you have a time machine, you can't really go back to that. Are there ways for the game to be more accessible? Yes, there is. Are there ways to go teach new players how to get into the game? Yes. Are there ways to go and have players overcome that hurdle of, like, being completely wrecked when they get back into the game or are new to the game? Yes, there are. There are plenty of ways through that, but a lot of it is like individual based, where it all comes down to you, the player, on how you handle the pressure of losing, or how you handle, you know, recognizing that what you enjoyed back then is completely different to what it is now. And if you can do that, you're definitely going to enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh. And trust me, if you do that, the game of Yu-Gi-Oh is incredibly fun. It's incredibly enjoyable. The community is really awesome. If you don't like playing the game in real life, there are tons of simulators out there. And yes, although it is very difficult, if you're able to get over that hurdle, trust me, like, Yu-Gi-Oh is an incredibly fun game that you can only enjoy after failing multiple times over and over again.